Hi there. My name is Andrew Watts, and my goal is to write a complete novel in only 30 days. What the hell am I doing? Hey there. Welcome to day 4. And day 4 is actually going to be a very special day in my X Day project because we're going to go on a field trip. I was feeling a little like we were too cooped up in my office at home. And, every writer should have a cabin in the woods, and some are luckier than others, and we happen to have one, my wife and I, in Massachusetts, which is where we are now. So I'm going to read some more of my book, only I'm going to read it outside, and I think it'll be good for all of us. A little fresh air, a little literature, if I may be so bold. And haven't written yet today. I'm going to do that as soon as I finish this. So first things first, we'll read some of the old, and then I'll go work on some of the new. Let's start reading. Chapter 2. Shit, Rachel said, pounding the steering wheel. She cursed the rain spattering the front windshield and her damn stupid luck. Shit, 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 shit. She huffed loudly and turned the ignition again in the vain hope that it wasn't gas, but some eccentric whimsy of the bug. God knew there were plenty of those. The engine turned over, whining back at her as if to berate her for her neglect, but it refused to start. She let it alone when she heard the telltale winding down of a quickly draining battery. She sat back and bit her nail in frustration, trying to remember where along the highway she was. She had been thoroughly lost in contemplating her painting and had paid no attention to the road. Why should she? She had driven this route so many times that she didn't really have to be alert to the signs. It never occurred to her that she might need to be observant of the various exits in case she ever ran out of gas. Rachel peered into the pitch black around her for clues. The lack of habitation on either side of the highway convinced her that she had passed Holyoke and was most likely in the couple of miles of nothing before the next exit, which she was fairly certain she remembered was Northampton. Her only recourse, as she could see it, was to get out and walk, find a phone, and call Jeff. Rachel checked her watch. 10:56. Shit. Jeff was going to be pissed. Once he was home, and he despised leaving the house again. She rummaged in the back seat for her purse, pushing aside her paint box and a few stretched canvases that she had brought home from her night class. She had left her current painting at school as it was too wet to transport, and anyway she wouldn't have time to work on it until her session next Wednesday night. She decided not to carry her purse and instead dug out her wallet and put it into her coat pocket. When she opened the driver's door, she was immediately assailed by a gust of cold, wet New England wind. She hadn't worn a warm enough coat. Her only protection was a yellow rain slicker and a wool sweater thrown heedlessly over her cotton peasant dress. She locked the door, put her car keys in her coat pocket, and looked back along the rain-slicked highway at the streaks of headlights racing toward her. Which way to go? She didn't know what was behind her, and she wasn't sure what was coming ahead, but it seemed logical to proceed north. North, toward home, forward. The rain wasn't coming down terribly hard, just enough to be annoying, so Rachel pulled the slicker's hood up over her head and struck out along the shoulder of I-91. It hadn't been as cold when she'd left for class earlier in the evening. Apparently the temperature had been dropping steadily all the while she was attempting to understand the impressionist method her teacher had given the class as an exercise. The method blew her away. Instead of mixing paints on a palette to achieve the hue she wished, her teacher had her slap the pure primary colors right next to each other on the canvas. Up close, the painting was a mess, vivid gobs of colorful chaos. But when Rachel stepped back only a few feet, her eyes fused the discrete colors into a delicious whole. It was a kind of enchantment, really, a numinous gift of sleight of hand. It was a magic that hadn't come easily, however. All the while she painted, every fiber of her realist soul begged to sculpt distinct boundaries between tint and shape. Her instincts cried out for order, but the method demanded anarchy. Every brushstroke felt unnatural, slapdash, a reckless smashing of paint into canvas. It was all about capturing that brief moment, the flash of creation, the impression. And it was exhilarating. She was still buzzing from the experience, and though the cold rain slashed at her as she walked, she took her mind away to the possibilities that had been unleashed tonight. She would never be the same painter that she had been, that was clear. A door had opened. She had walked through, and it had slammed shut behind her. For Rachel, painting was always more than the dilettantish dream of a naif. It had from the first risen to the level of obsession, and was so utterly complete of mind and body that she would sometimes forego many of the basic necessities of life, eating, bathing, sleeping, in favor of hours spent in her studio. Both of her parents had been children's book illustrators of moderate renown, so it was the family business she had inherited. But even her father, from whom this obsessive trait had most likely been passed down, had often lectured her to get a larger life beyond the canvas. Life was the source of art, Jackson Tillett had maintained, and if you did not live the one, you could never achieve the other.